Well, I finally decided to buy this little rack, this pannier rack that goes on the Burley Coho trailer. See what the finish looks like. It's kind of a textured finish. It looks similar to how the trailer's finished. Some reviewers complain that the rack is hard to install on the trailer. There's some screws here you got to remove, and one there, and then on the other side it's the same thing. So I'm going to try installing it right now. Well, one thing I noticed right away is this eyelet right here was so tight on the screw that when I tried to unscrew the screw, the eyelet was actually turning inside the frame rail, and I had the same problem over here. So I had to grab the eyelet with these pliers and then unscrew this screw. So this one was pretty easy, but this one right here is a little stuck as well. So I'll just try to clamp on the edge of the eyelet, and there we go. So I've got the screws installed, and I left them just a little bit loose to have some wiggle room so that I can make sure that I can line these up correctly, which looks like it won't be a problem. Got the rack tightened down. The biggest struggle with it is those eyelets. They just don't fit tightly enough into the frame of the trailer. I've got this ROS bag set here. These, however, are meant for a narrower rack, like more like this width. But this Burley Coho rack's actually quite wide, so these don't quite fit right on here. You can kind of bend them. There's like a piece of plastic or something inside that makes it stiff. You can see here, this is where the seam is on the bag. On the other side, and you can see that that's quite a bit narrower than the width we're dealing with here on the rack. Here you can see how that is being kind of bent. There's still a bit of space in there, but it's not ideal. It's got these straps that secure it to the rack. And here's the top part, and it just snaps onto the bottom part with these type of snaps. It's got a front strap that I just kind of hooked under there. And then on the rear I wrapped these around the bar there. The manual says you can only have 10 pounds on each pannier, and then the total load limit of the trailer is still 70 pounds with the main body and whatever you put in the rear. Now these manuals are specified by engineers, and they have to know about materials science and machine elements. Now I'm going to have to figure out how much all these books weigh. I'll lift up the rear end and drop it. With having all this weight on the back here, it gave the trailer a twisting feel, more so than it did with other types of loading. When I was going down the steep hill, it felt a little harder to control, probably because this top bag was actually shifting around somewhat. Nothing broke on the trailer, the rack. All these screws are intact. Looks like this bag has been getting gouged a little bit. It's probably getting gouged right on these. The other thing is, when I was going uphill, I was having difficulty with the bike tire, the rear tire slipping. With having all this weight on the back, there wasn't as much force pressing down on the wheel. In fact, this weight on the rear was working probably to lift the wheel somewhat. So I would say this is definitely not the greatest loading scheme, but it was entertaining to try it out.